president has clearly said this is about his grudge with Germany. Just a few weeks ago, he said Germany's been delinquent of billions of dollars, and this is for years, so we're removing a number down to, putting that number down to 25,000 soldiers. He's linking this to Germany's lack of payments to NATO. So how do you reconcile that? You're saying it's about strategy, he's saying it's about basically sticking it to Germany.
We began this process actually several months ago when I gave EUCOM direction to begin looking at ways by which we can improve our force disposition in Germany, our composition of, I'm sorry, not Germany, in NATO, our composition, our size of our forces. He knew it was coming too because I announced it as soon as my hearing last year also. So the combatant commanders know that we're doing these reviews. We gave specific guidance months before that to begin this process. And what the president did with his directive in early June was to accelerate that process. When you step back and you look at what's happened, right, what you'll see is we are still retaining a little more than 24,000 troops in Germany, which is still a lot, and I think still more than any other country in Europe. And then you look at what we're moving. What we're doing is we're moving the forces, to answer your strategy question, we're moving forces out of Central Europe, Germany, where they have been since the Cold War, since I first traveled there in the early 1980s. And we're now moving, we're following in many ways the boundary east, where our newest allies are. Into the Black Sea region. We talked about additional forces into Poland, and I think there are opportunities to put forces into the Baltics. That's why it's a strategic laydown that enhances deterrence, strengthens the allies, it reassures them. We've gotten very positive feedback from several of the countries I've mentioned this morning with regard to this move. And so overall, I think it is, again, it meets all those objectives.
I understand what you're saying, but your boss is saying it's about Germany being delinquent. He said nothing about strategy.
I'm telling you that this is going to accomplish what the president said with regard to getting us down to a lower number in Europe, and it meets those other objectives I outlined with regard to the strategic piece, the principles, assuring the allies, and taking care of our service members and families.
All right, we're going to go to the phones. Jung-Un Lee from Duali.
Hi, thank you for the briefing. About the reduction plan of the U.S. troops in Germany, there are some speculations that some of the troops evacuating in Germany could be redeployed to the Indo-Pacific area later to respond to the Chinese military threat. So do you have such a plan? Can you elaborate more on the redeployment and reassessing plan of the troops from Germany?
Well, in all things they could be, but because I want to enhance my strategic flexibility, right? That was principle number 4, if you will. But right now there are no plans to do so. We're going to eventually take a look as we get to the Indo-PACOM review and look at how we can enhance our, again, strategic flexibility, our operational flexibility, if you will, and several of those other principles I outlined as we head into the Indo-PACOM review. But right now there are no plans to do that. The plan is to begin these rotations back to Europe in a way that, again, enhances my strategic flexibility, but maybe more importantly, enhances General Walter's operational flexibility to deploy them in a more enduring way where he needs to in the theater. Could be this, we're talking about the southeastern flank, but it could be up into the northeastern flank to accomplish the objectives that he's outlined, that I've outlined as part of our planning.
All right, we're going to go to the phones for one more from Louis Martinez.
Hi, sir. Thank you very much for this briefing. Going back to Tom Bowman's question, President Trump on the South Lawn has once again restated that really this is more about Germany's payments, or that its GDP payments are not amounting to what he would like. And so he said that everybody should be at 4%, and he said that Germany has only paid 1%, and he called them being delinquent. And so how can you reconcile that? I know that this process has been going on for quite some time, but is it safe to say that it was accelerated by the president's opinions that Germany is not doing enough with regards to its GDP payment?
Well, first of all, I'd say to President Trump's credit, under his leadership, we've seen an increase in defense spending by NATO. I think it's over $130 billion over a few years. We have seen a few more countries join, I'll call the 2% club, and that is countries who have lived up to their Wells commitment. I think it goes back to 2016 under the previous administration to contribute more to NATO's collective defense. Let's be clear. I think Germany is the wealthiest country in Europe. Germany can and should pay more to its defense. it should certainly meet the 2% standard, and I would argue go above and beyond that. And I've said that very publicly. I've said that very privately to my counterparts as well about the importance of NATO, any alliance, sharing the burden so that we can all deter Russia and avoid peace in Europe. And again, the President's directive in June accelerated that, and I think we are excited about where we're going and what it will mean in terms of our ability to enhance deterrence, strengthen the alliance in the process.
All right, guys, thank you very much.
Thank you, everybody.
One more on Russia.